Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Ask an Attorney Anything. How do I fix my credit? Before we get started, I just want to let everybody know of this simple disclaimer. This video is purely for educational purposes. It doesn't represent legal advice by the Wallace Law Group or Stephen E. Wallace. Okay, so let's get right into it. Any adult that needs to make any type of large purchases or any type of major life decisions needs to have good credit. So oftentimes, just based on the lack of education in the school systems, I've been an advocate for many years that one of the requirements to high school graduation is that you need to pass a personal finance course, which includes how to balance your checkbook, understanding credit, how to maintain and preserve your credit. So as a lot of you know, I'm a bankruptcy attorney, and so a lot of folks come to me when they're having some major difficulties with their credit. They've fallen behind on their debt. Generally, they have debt in excess of a minimum of $10,000. Oftentimes, we've seen $50,000, $100,000, $200,000. So ultimately, bankruptcy is the last resort. I never, ever push any of my clients to filing bankruptcy. So let's talk first about what is credit. Credit basically allows you to pay a large purchase in certain installments, and generally your creditors will charge an interest component. And oftentimes folks with bad credit, in addition to having a limit to the credit markets, they oftentimes, if they do qualify, pay a larger interest rate on their credit. So one of the keys is the first step that I always recommend is that somebody pulls their credit report, not just their credit report, but their credit file. And that will see a list of the creditors that are making negative claims on your credit. So it can be one of two different things. It can be that you're late, and generally, if you have consecutive lates, for example, if you haven't paid your mortgage for 6 months, you'll continuously have every month a negative credit on your credit report. And then ultimately, creditors will send, especially mortgage companies, will send your loan into default servicing when you're between 90 to 120 days. And then oftentimes the same thing with any type of medical debt or credit card companies. After 90 to 120 days, they'll send you into default and then ultimately forward that to a collection agency. So the reason why I'm mentioning all this and giving you a brief explanation, and we are going to have a credit builder series of videos in upcoming weeks, but this is our first step. And so the key is you want to look at your credit and ultimately anything, and oftentimes there may be things that you weren't aware of, past due medical debt, or it could be an unpaid cable bill, an unpaid electric bill. And the key is you want to contact the creditor and you want to pay it. Or at the very least, if you can't pay it in full, then try to see if you can reach some type of installment payment plan with your creditor, or see if you can settle it for cents on the dollar. For example, if you owe $100 on a credit card, see if you can reach a deal and reach a lump sum payment of $50. We represent a lot of clients defending these types of cases in Florida, and generally when they hire us, and they generally hire us after they're sued by their creditors, we are able to accomplish these goals. But the whole key is that you want to avoid any creditors filing any lawsuits against you, and then you have to get attorneys involved, and then potentially ultimately having to file bankruptcy. So once you do that, you're fixing these by basically closing them out, meaning that you will not constantly get negative reporting on a monthly basis. And then over time, generally, all types of negative credit will stay in your credit report for up to 7 years. Another strategy that you can use, and that was the reason why I mentioned for you to pull your credit file, is you can dispute all these negative marks on your credit by filing a dispute with your credit bureau. And what we found over time, we've helped a lot of clients with this, is that we're able to remove those from your credit report, and then ultimately your credit score will go up. The one caution I'll tell you is it does take a lot of diligence related to this, because oftentimes we can remove it from your credit report, and then ultimately 3 or 4 months down the line, the creditor will report the negative mark again. So it really takes diligence and it takes monitoring. And so that is the key to fixing your credit. Well, I hope you enjoyed this installment of Ask an Attorney Anything, and stay safe out there. And I look forward to seeing you on future telecasts. And if you enjoy this, please subscribe to our channel and please like and comment on this particular video. Stay well and God bless.